to PT Tips with Guests. My guest today is Lisa. Please welcome Lisa to the show.
Hello, Lisa!
Hello. Let me put these on so I can see you properly. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. Please introduce yourself. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us what you do.
Okay, I'm Lisa. I'm a nanny. I've been a nanny for 25 years this month, working with families around the country, really, in their own homes. Usually 1 to 3, 4, sometimes 5 children. That's what I do.
Wow, amazing. Do you know what? 2 things, I'm going to make a confession. 2 things, whenever I go through your Instagram, 2 things always come up. First one is I want to live with you, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, they are having fun. These children, they're having so much fun. I just want to just spend a day with you and just like walk around and just enjoy nature, your pictures, your videos, your posts. I'm just like, oh my gosh, can I just spend a day, just a day. And then the second thing,
has that ability to make it just pinpoints the best bits. I'm not going to show you the bits. I'm not going to turn the camera around and show you what's going on.
And then the second one is just nature, like your post, like it seems to me like you guys go out every single day.
I think we do. I've got a dog, so I always think, if you're going to be walking the dog, that's just a reason to get out. Even though he doesn't have to be walked every day, he'd quite happily not be. And it's not always the dog walk, but that sort of ends up being the reason when I'm at home for getting out. And then at work, there's school runs and that's usually it during my working days, the to and from school, and then I just love being outside. So if there's something, I'm much happier to be outside just doing our thing than going to something really structured. So it just that's just how it ends up being.
It shows really your post, like it just shows how much you love being outdoors, and like even the things that you capture, things that it's easy to miss, you capture them so beautifully in your posts. And to be fair, like it makes me want to stop, calm down and take it in, because we're always so busy on the move.
And that's the good thing about it, you can feel like everything's getting on top of you at home, and there's always jobs to do, and you sort of always, and sometimes connecting with the children can be quite hard and feel quite forced inside, whereas you go outside, you don't have to have a plan, you can just get out there and they spot things, they see things, they hear things, they smell things, and I very rarely know the answer. It's kind of a running joke. Let's Google it. What is this? What can we? We've got to find out what. And that's fun. I very rarely retain information, but 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, they do. And they can look at a book, and then when they see something in real life and be able to say, I know what that is because I saw it in my book. And I'm like, yes, we don't have to Google it.
Why do you think it's so important though? Like, what would you say has been the most refreshing or inspiring thing about being outdoors for you and the children that you've seen?
I just generally think it's good for the soul. Just them spotting things that and them really enjoying it and being able to use their bodies and be able to be physical. And it is that whole thing of using their whole bodies, their senses. It's good for the soul. I think it's just an all-round, I think it could possibly take a bit of practice to people who are kind of right, what we're doing now, and you just kind of just got to go with it.
How do you find the time? How do you find the time in your busy schedule? Like, I can imagine how busy it gets for you. How do you find the time to actually, take them? How do you even find the time to get them ready? Like, how do you get them ready to go out, find the time to stay for how long, and still get back and do all the stuff that you have to do?
Not always thinking that it has to be a big, long thing, and you don't have to have a plan. Literally throwing on boots, they might have their wellies on the wrong feet, and jumpers on back to front, and the odd mittens or whatever. You're just getting out, and even if it's just walking to the top of the road and back, just getting out can really make a whole lot of difference. And then you've done it, and you get back feeling so much better, and you tend to go out feeling like, I've got the dishwasher to empty, and I've got this to do and that to do, and you get back and it all feels more doable, or you feel more invigorated. So those jobs that were just getting to the point where I just don't have the energy for it, suddenly it's like when you get back from the gym, or you do some really good exercise, afterwards it's like, I've tidied that whole room, and I didn't even realize I did it. And it can be like that, just and it's good for the children, if they're arguing, if things are getting a little bit fractious, just or going out in the garden and saying, jump on the spot 10 times, and then they get distracted by something else, and then they start doing, and then it's like it's all fine.
I totally agree. I think sometimes it's just the thought of it is what holds us back. But when you actually just go out, I remember when I said to myself, I'm like, all right, listen, I am going to promise that I will go out with the children every single day. Because sometimes I'm like, it's a bit dull, let's just stay indoors. And you find them getting all grumpy and everything. And because I can be a bit of a control freak, I like to plan everything. I used to even plan the outdoors. And then once I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to go with them and let's just have a good time. Let's just have a walk. We went for the walk, and she was, oh my gosh, my 2-year-old discovered her shadow for the first time. And it was so much fun to watch. Just watch her, trying to step on it and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you don't really need to plan. Yeah, you can plan if you're a control freak like me, but know that it will not always go according to your plan. Yeah, so
it's always nice to have a few sort of backups in the back of your mind of if things start to, if they're just looking at the ground, especially with older children. It's kind of, but, if you've just got certain things that just can't think off the top of my head, but like listening out for the loudest thing you can hear or the quietest thing, just things off the top of your head, and that can just get them off, and they're on a roll of their own, and they'll chat to each other and explore, and even just walking along a road in the city and looking at the different coloured doors, and anything that you can see growing in the curbside, or sometimes you've got to avoid looking at certain things, and then you end up with difficult conversations. But generally, being outside is good.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. You know what? You've answered my second question, because I was going to ask that what advice would you give to someone who is just probably deciding that they want to start to go out more? Like, what kind of activities can they do? But you've already answered that. I like the idea of listening for the loudest. Actually, I'm going to do that tomorrow.
And it's smelling. How do things smell? I think if you always go back to kind of senses, then there's always places to go with that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Lisa, thank you so much. I absolutely adore you, and I love your page. Constantly inspired by your Instagram page. Mummy Nanny _Lisa, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm amazed by your enthusiasm and energy. Let's just rub a bit of that. I need some of that.
And I need some of your outdoors. Let's just take some of each other. Oh, thank you so much. And
to me. Thank you.
I'll see you on the gram. Bye.
Bye.